Well, there are some questions tonight surrounding Democratic candidate for governor Xavier Becerra.
A political firm with close ties to the people accused of stealing money from his campaign account is now running a campaign to support him. KCRA 3's political director Ashley Zavala joins us now to explain what's going on.
Edie and Golston, federal prosecutors have said a business called The Collaborative was part of the scheme ran by Dana Williamson and Greg Campbell used to steal $250,000 from one of Xavier Becerra's campaign accounts. Williamson was Becerra's advisor and former campaign manager. Her case is still ongoing and she's in talks for a possible plea deal. Campbell was a Sacramento lobbyist and consultant who has already pleaded guilty in this case. A powerful political firm called Bear Star was associated with the two at the time of the alleged crime and were members of the collaborative. Bear Star has not been implicated in this case, but tonight we're learning Bear Star is now running a new campaign to support Xavier Becerra's run for governor, a situation that's raising more questions about this case.
Ms. Williamson, do you have anything to say to Xavier Becerra right now?
Nearly 6 months since Xavier Becerra's former campaign manager was accused of stealing his money, the business she allegedly used to do it is in the process of shutting down. Federal prosecutors say Dana Williamson and Sacramento lobbyist Greg Campbell used their LLC, The Collaborative, to help funnel nearly $250,000 from Xavier Becerra's campaign funds to the personal bank account of his longtime chief of staff, Sean McCluskey. Court records say McCluskey was taking a pay cut to follow Becerra from California to Washington, D.C. to work in the Biden administration. McCluskey pleaded guilty in the case. In my sit-down conversation with Becerra earlier this month, he said he was truly misled and thought he was paying for account management.
That didn't raise any flags for you, those payments?
So we were paying for management of a dormant account, making sure that no laws were violated. Because I was Secretary of Health and Human Services, a cabinet member, I had to distance myself from anything that looked political or campaign related.
An attorney for the Collaborative's manager, Jim DeBoo, told us in a statement, quote, "The Collaborative is non-operative, inactive, and is in the process of being dissolved. It has no material assets, no business activities, no revenue, nor will it. The only item remaining for the final dissolution is to file a certificate of cancellation." The Collaborative was an alliance of political consultants, including Bear Star Strategies. The homepage of the Collaborative's website featured this proverb, "Call one wolf, you invite the pack." Bear Star was not part of the pack of people indicted for the federal crimes, and a spokesman told KCRA 3 on Thursday Bear Star has had no involvement, interest, or stake in the Collaborative since 2022. But they were still listed on the website when Williamson was indicted in November. This week, Bear Star launched a new, independent expenditure campaign to support Becerra in his bid for governor. We're asking experts if the optics of this are problematic.
And the fact is that this Dana Williamson individual is part of Bear Stars and their collaborative. It should tell voters across the state that something stinks.
Mike Trujillo is a Democratic strategist based in Los Angeles.
With Bear Star running this IE, does it make Javier's claim that he's a victim in this harder to believe for the public?
It should, and the answer is yes.
It should remind people, though, that, this scandal is not completely resolved.
Republican strategist Rob Stutzman used to lead the communications team for former Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger.
There is this specter of these unknowns that swirl around Xavier Becerra, whether he did anything wrong or not. He just can't escape it. And now when the same consultants that are tangential to all this, not directly involved, no evidence of that, but tangentially involved, were in business with the people that were involved, it's going to be hard to kind of get away from the questions.
Bear Star is seen as a political consulting powerhouse in California, with clients and successful campaigns that include Governors Gavin Newsom, Jerry Brown, former Attorney General Kamala Harris, and U.S. Senator Alex Padilla. Bear Star has already tried to back several possible candidates for governor, including Lieutenant Governor Eleni Kounalakis, who dropped out of the race last year. They also backed Eric Swalwell before he ended his candidacy amid sexual assault allegations.
It could look weird to voters or people on the outside looking into this. It's a good reminder that there are only so many, large and effective political consulting operations.
We reached out to Xavier Becerra for comment, specifically asking if he has concerns about the optics here, but we have yet to hear back from him. To be clear, Bear Star is not running Becerra's official campaign, but a separate campaign in support of him. It's called Working Families for Healthy Communities Supporting Becerra for Governor 2026. This is what's known as an independent expenditure campaign, IE for short. They raise money, they can buy ads, spend as much money as they want, but by law, they are not allowed to work with the candidate directly.
But still, people see these names and, you know, you can understand the questions for sure.
It's a small world.
Yes. Okay, so you mentioned Dana Williamson, and they were talking about a plea deal. Any update there?
Yeah, we checked in today with court records. No update yet on those negotiations. Her next court date to discuss this is set for May 14th. That's less than 3 weeks out from primary election day for this governor's race.
We'll wait and see if Becerra wants to say something. We got that debate coming up next week, too.
Here we are.
All right. Thanks, Ash.